You lie still beneath your blanket, the breath of sleep slowly curling around you. The night hums with quiet things, the tick of your clock, the steady rise and fall of your chest, the subtle creak of distant wood. And above you, far beyond ceiling and rooftop, is a sky deep enough to hold every mystery your heart has ever wanted to ask. It begins, like many journeys, with a single question. Not loud, not urgent, software, curious. What would it feel like to fall into a black hole? It isn't a new question. People have been asking this for years. Physicists with chalk-stained hands, children lying on freshly mowed grass, dreamers staring into the evening. But tonight, it's you who asks it. Not for the equations or the danger or the science fiction thrill. You ask because your mind wants to float, to wander somewhere wide and wordless, to pass gently across the edge of the known and drift into what lies just beyond. So let's begin together. Let's not fall quickly. Let's float inward, one breath at a time. Let's feel it, not just study it. For now, forget rocket ships, forget telescopes. Instead, close your eyes a little softer. Bring your body into stillness. The dark isn't empty, not really. It has texture and curve. It listens. Tonight, the dark space around your body becomes the universe itself. Above you, stars blink in and out of view like the slow thinking of ancient gods. The air is crisp and quiet, but it begins to thin as your imaginary body rises, leaves the atmosphere, and slips into space. You are drifting now, weightless, timeless, away from Earth, away from the warm fingertips of the sun. And far ahead, not bright, not glowing, there is a slight distortion, like a hole in the fabric of reality. Not visible, really, but noticeable. A trembling at the center of stillness, a black hole. But before you reach it, let's stay here, in the space between, and ask, what is a black hole, really? You may have heard the textbook answers before. A region of space-time where gravity is so intense, nothing, not even light, can escape. But what does that feel like? Let's not define it. Let's imagine it. Imagine space as a great endless sheet. You place stars and planets across this sheet, and they weigh it down gently, like coins on fabric. Most stars curve the fabric slightly, but a black hole, a collapsed star, presses so deeply that it doesn't just bend the sheet, it stretches it into a funnel, a well that has no known bottom. You can't see the bottom, and you don't know what waits there. But something about that quiet hole pulls at you. Not frightening, not yet, just curious. Like standing at the edge of the sea, too dark to see what lies beneath, yet calm enough to invite a tow. This is not a fall with panic. It is a fall like sleep, like surrender, like wonder. And even now, only in thought, the question unwraps. What would it feel like as you approached it? Would your body change shape? Would your vision stretch? Could you feel the edge? Or is the edge merely a concept? Something only outside observers notice while you, the falling one, feel nothing unusual at all. Physicists call that edge the event horizon, but names are just names. you're not here to recite the formulas. You're here to understand, not in the mind, but in the bones. So we continue gently forward, following that thought like you'd follow a stream through a forest. It's strangely quiet in this part of space. No stars too close, no sound either. Space doesn't carry it. Just the soft, persistent pull that seems to come from nowhere. You still see stars around you. They shimmer, shift. But near the black hole, the stars begin to behave oddly. They curve, as if distorted through thick glass. Some appear behind others, though they shouldn't. Some stretch longer, trailing light like brush strokes of time. Light, it seems, is already feeling the shift in gravity you are approaching. The black hole doesn't suck. It pulls elegantly, inexorably. It doesn't reach out and grab. It just allows space to fall inward around it. And now the idea comes. You are not falling into something. You are falling with space-time itself, being drawn toward a place that isn't a place, a destination that removes destination. You wonder, is this how dreams feel before they become dreams? Before descent, there is the pause, a moment at the edge of reality and imagination, a flicker of hesitation, of awe, and somewhere inside you, you feel small. Not in a disempowered way, not like shrinking, but like belonging. A tiny thread in a vast, dark tapestry. A human asking questions beneath stars, billions of years older than your language. A brain made of stardust, now returning to contemplate its cosmic cousin. The black hole waits, does not beckon, does not speak. It simply is. Still, constant, absolute. And your question, what would it feel like to fall in? Unfolds, petal by petal. You don't need to answer yet. Questions aren't puzzles, always. Sometimes they're doorways. And tonight, you stepped through one. As you breathe here at the beginning, at the edge of thought and gravity and sleep, let yourself rest without the need for conclusions. There is so much more ahead. The star that once gave birth to this black hole, the event horizon, the slowing of time, the stretching of light, the very center of the unknown. But not yet. For now, just float here, software silent, listening to the dark hum its ancient songs, your body still, your mind open, and the great quiet question still echoing around you like a lantern hung in the velvet air. What would it feel like? Before there was a black hole, there was a star. And before that star, there was dust. And before the dust, there was a breath the universe hasn't taken again since. In the vast quiet of space, stars are born from murmurs, from clouds that drift and wait and fold into themselves. These clouds, made of all the common things, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, do not shout themselves into light. They gather slowly, softly, imperceptibly. And when they've waited long enough, gravity whispers them inward. Just as your body, tonight, rests pulled by its own weight into the mattress, so do particles gather, settle, lean into each other until warmth awakens between their folds. That warmth grows, it beats, it ignites, and a star begins. Not all stars are loud or luminous. Some shimmer quietly in corners of space, like shy lanterns hiding behind mist. Others roar for eons with furious power, painting planets with light you'll never see. But one particular star, the one calling to you now, was once like our own sun, only heavier, more massive, a little more ambitious. Mass, in the language of stars, is destiny. This star danced its dance, spinning, burning, pressing hydrogen into helium, then into even heavier things. Each element a story, a heartbeat, a step toward its final act. You drift in dream near this ancient furnace, not fearing its brightness, only wondering at the purpose behind such persistence. Its surface churns with molten brilliance. Inside it, fusion sings a song of becoming. But nothing can burn forever. One day, after millions or billions of years, time is soft here. The fuel begins to run dry. When the star can no longer hold its own weight through heat and fusion, gravity begins to reclaim its forgotten debts. There's no ceremony, no flash of notice. The heart of the star sinks inward, and inward still. Can you feel it? Not as terror, but as pressure, as change. In your chest, maybe, beneath your ribs, a gravity that folds everything back onto itself. The star collapses, not slowly, but in a final, unimaginable inhale. And in that brief, terrible, poetic breath, the black hole is born. We call it death, but what is death to something that burns from stardust? Even the end has elegance. Imagine, if you like, a tower made of light, suddenly remembering it, is made of dust, and choosing to fall inward until it's not a shape anymore. The result is not wreckage. It is not flame, it is not rubble, it is silence. A silence so heavy, it bends everything around it. Light, time, memory. From the outside, you see nothing. No star, no flame, only distortion, and a center that does not return what it takes. This silence isn't the kind you hear. It's the kind you feel. Like a question that no longer expects an answer. Like a pause so long, it becomes something else entirely. And yet you are still drifting. Now the black hole is ahead, no longer imagined from a safe mind's distance, but something real. Born of matter, energy, and inevitability. You begin to understand. Black holes aren't monsters. They don't chase, don't devour without reason. They are the final breath of something unimaginably bright. You wonder in the quiet of your floating body, can something so collapsed still hold memory? What do they remember? The black holes of who they once were. Does the echo of heat, of light, stay folded deep inside? Or does the fall inside erase even that? A strange tenderness rises in you. Where others might see doom, you start to feel reverence. This black hole was made not of menace, but of light once offered freely to the galaxies. So much pressure, so much collapse, not to destroy, but because that is what the laws of nature wrote into the heart of the story. You are beginning to realize the journey inward is not violent. It is quiet, like being carried by an ocean current too large to see, like walking into a cathedral without walls. Somewhere behind you, the stars still glitter, but their voices grow faint. Gravitational tides stretch across space like unseen waves. The black hole warps the theater around it, not in malice, but in mass. And you, still far enough not to be torn, begin to feel the pull more deeply. It doesn't hurt, not yet. It feels intimate, like something sensing your presence long before you arrive. You look inward at the thing that once was a star, and you realize that words like object or thing don't quite work anymore. A black hole isn't something sitting in space. It is a place, a condition, a region where reality begins to change shape and tense and tone. It's space, wounded so beautifully it opens into another kind of geometry. And as you drift toward its edge, not falling yet, just drawn, you begin to feel another truth settle in. You were made of stardust once too. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs, all were born in stars like this one. You carry in your skin the memory of stellar hearts. So does this black hole. And perhaps that's why you're drawn to it, not just by the gravity of physics, but by a softer, older pull, the gravity of belonging. You rest in that thought for a long while, between the remembrance of stars and the quiet promise of the whole ahead, held in the strange stillness between beginnings and endings. You do not rush toward it yet. The journey must remain slow, sacred, because each step closer changes something, not just in space, but in you. You begin to sense the limits of your old understanding and the beginning of something new. At your back, the universe continues without you. Ahead, something calls, without voice, without light, without haste. You are not afraid. You are listening. You are becoming ready. Picture yourself floating in the cold hush of cosmic silence. You are closer now, closer to the black hole than anyone has ever dared to dream. And yet, there's still no impact, no rush of fall, no violent suck. The black hole doesn't tug with teeth, it invites with inevitability. But something begins to change, not inside your body, but just ahead of it. An edge, not a wall, not a barrier. No sound, no sign, but still, something shifts. You're approaching the event horizon. It has many names: the surface, the boundary, the point of no return. But all those names feel coarse, too mechanical. To you, here in this dark hush, it feels more like dipping a toe into velvet. And the velvet doesn't push back. This invisible ring, wrapped tightly around the black hole, is not a structure. Not made of gas or fire. It's not a cliff or a trap. It's a rule. A rule whispered quietly into the laws of physics. Once you cross this line, no path returns. Not even light can claw its way out once it passes. Not because it is caught, but because the very fabric of space flows inward faster than light can escape it. Imagine space not as emptiness, but as a flowing river. Near the black hole, that river twists into a waterfall, and the event horizon is the place where the current overtakes even the quickest swimmer. No effort can undo that flow. No engine, no burst of energy, no cry can fight that tide. From the outside, an observer might watch you reach this edge and, strangely, freeze. Frozen, hovering still, seeming never to cross. To them, you slow, 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 until you stop. Your body fades to red, then dims, and finally disappears. Not from vaporization, but from the warping of time. To others, you become memory. But to you, to your own falling consciousness, time feels smooth. You pass the event horizon without pause, no alarm, no line underfoot. It's just the next moment, the next breath, the burn of curiosity in your chest. And yet, something in you senses the difference. It is an inside-out feeling. Outside the horizon, space behaves like space. Inside, space turns strange. Distances mean something else. Directions bend. Time stops behaving like time all the way. You are no longer in the ordinary part of the universe. You are in the black hole now. Not at its center, not yet, but within its grasp completely. It's like stepping off the edge of a familiar path into a dream stitched only from gravity. Everything flows inward, even light, even space, even you. You look back, but there is no back. Behind you is only inward. The horizon seals behind you like a memory. Not violently, not cruelly, but with complete finality. Crossing it didn't hurt, but it changed everything. Here, you are being carried in space the way a leaf is carried downriver. There is no fighting the current. There is no sensation of weight, only movement, constant, spatial and temporal at once. Maybe you feel your breath change. You don't need air here, not in thought. But habits follow even dreams. Your body, your perception, all take on new qualities. Mass stretches, identity blurs. Now light begins to act even stranger. It seems to drift in circular patterns around you. Flickers from distant stars, trapped in orbital dances too tight to escape. Glowing rings of fire made by light, not quite swallowed, but imprisoned. Astronomers call it the photon sphere, the place where light can orbit. But here, it feels like being inside a firefly's lantern. Light floats. It does not reach you directly. It spins toward you from every side. Up is bending. Down is folding. You've lost the meaning of left or right. And still, you fall. Not rushed, not flung, but carried by the shape of space itself, inward and inward, and inward again. The event horizon has passed beneath you. You are after the curtain, inside the mystery. No signal can reach out now. No message, no light, no voice. And yet you are not lost. You are still here, aware, like a dreamer in mid-dream, watching the shape of impossible things. This is not death. This is not destruction. This is deeper than either. You become aware of your own thoughts now, how they stretch into metaphor, because the reality has no analog. There is no real feeling of passing the event horizon. No jolt, no sound. But one part of you, the tender, reflective part, understands what it means. You are now falling into a place where space itself is turned inward, where distance collapses and time reshuffles. And this thought does not frighten you, not yet. It fascinates, it softens, it wakes something ancient. Because you remember, everything that falls in was once starlight. You are arriving home. You cannot go back now. There is no more horizon to cross, only distance to dissolve. And that is the strangest part. Space no longer stretches ahead of you. It does not even feel like ahead. In a black hole, moving forward is not about reaching a destination. It is about accepting the absence of escape as the beginning of something deeper. Space curves completely here, not just around matter, but into it. Every moment ahead will take you closer to the core, the singularity itself. But for now, you float just beyond the heart, inside eternity's chamber. Your fall is not a fall. It is the surfacing of gravity's deepest secret. The event horizon remains behind you, unseen. You think of it not as an end, but a gate. Software absolute, final, beautiful. Your body responds with calm, like warm water gathering around ankles. And in this state, where nothing moves in a straight line anymore, you begin to feel a change in the gravity around you. A stretching, a division. You cannot name it yet, but your body will soon recognize it. Your shape, your being, your orientation in time and space, all of it will start to respond. The inside is not still. The inside is alive with pressure. But that is for the next step, the next drift. Now rest inside this place, between places, where space-time no longer looks behind, where memory fades like trailing starlight, where you become both the question and the answer, and where the horizon is only the beginning. Inside the black hole, everything has changed, but changed so gently you almost didn't notice. It's like walking into a different kind of air. You can still move, still think, still feel. But gravity now isn't just something beneath your feet. It's everywhere, in every breath of time, in every thought, in the way space curves around your body like a quiet tide. There's no floor, no falling down, because down is now inward, and inward is a place space itself is trying to reach. Gravity thickens. It doesn't press or crush, not yet. It folds softly around your limbs, tucks itself into the cradle between your thoughts. A silence that isn't absence, but concentration. From the outside, if anyone could still see you, time would appear to nearly stop. You would seem frozen in midair, hovering forever just after entering. They would wait, but you'd never arrive. From their world you are forever approaching and never quite inside. But from your view, your journey continues. Time hasn't stopped. It's deepened. Like walking into honeyed twilight, like rain falling in reverse, like thoughts stacked in deeper layers. Outside time and inner time no longer agree. You are beginning to experience what astronauts only whisper about: relativity. Not as theory, but as sensation. Imagine this. You're floating in a pool of liquid so clear that light moves slower through it. Not because it's blocked, but because the space inside has thickened. Not sticky to the touch, but heavy in its essence. This is what gravity feels like now. Not a force pulling you, but space tilting around you, encouraging your body to slide toward one inevitable center. You are not being dragged. You are being offered to the singularity. And in that offering, everything becomes more vivid. Light itself dims, not because it's disappearing, but because it's bending. Photons curve around you like petals in water. The stars you once saw above are gone now, exchanged for arcs of faint glow, stretched into ribbons of memory by the bending path of their journeys through distorted space-time. Even darkness seems to bend here. There's no orientation anymore. Left and right, up and down. They've lost their meaning. What remains is motion in only one direction, inward, toward the core. But it doesn't feel like movement through space. It feels like movement through gravity itself. The black hole isn't a tunnel. It's more like a whirlpool made of fabric, pulling everything not into a space, but into a state, a condition of absolute gravity. And in this feeling, strange clarity arrives. You begin to understand that gravity isn't just something outside you. It's intimately woven into your being. From the atoms in your cells that hold together because of their own tiny forces, to the way your body once fell gently into Earth's embrace. Gravity has always been there, not as custodian, not as enemy, but as quiet architect. And here, within the black hole, you meet gravity at its most sacred. It reveals its layers not through violence, but through transformation. The further in you go, the more gravity lifts its veil, not just bending space and time, but blending them. You realize you're no longer moving through space-time. You're slipping along a canvas where time and space have been swirled together like colors in a nebula. Past and future lose their sharp edges. A second may stretch to a minute, or pass before you've noticed. You are falling through time, not just through space. Dreamlike and slow, yet endlessly certain. Around you, the distortions grow more intricate. Shapes warp, not into chaos, but into complexity. Like looking across calm water that hides a swirling undercurrent. The physics here don't break, they just realign into rules that don't fit our eyes out there. Reality hasn't failed, it has deepened into a belief with too many rooms for old minds to hold. You are not afraid. No flashing lights, no pain, just persistently falling inward. Ahead, the singularity remains distant, but closer now, calling without words. You still don't see it. Not because it's hidden, but because it no longer exists in terms your senses know how to frame. But you feel it, like a note held quietly in the background of a song. It vibrates through gravity itself, an invitation drawn not in light, but in inevitability. And yet you are still whole, still you. Whatever is coming next has not stretched you yet, not torn or burned. Instead, gravity begins to act like something else entirely. It begins to feel gentle, intimate, not pulling, but wrapping, not demanding, but enfolding, like the warmth of being held in memory. You are not falling through distance anymore. You are falling through a change in perspective. You are becoming something new. And perhaps that's what falling into a black hole really is. Not the vanishing of a person, but the dissolving of dimensional habits. Even now, nothing feels abrupt, and yet something is building. A tension made of distance and pressure, a stretching, not painful, but present. As if your body is beginning to measure the space across itself differently. Soon, very soon, that shift will take shape. It will become felt directly, not just through metaphor, but through moment. The pull between your head and your feet will stop being symbolic. You will begin to feel what physicists describe only in terms of force. Not named yet, but close, stretching. But for now, hold still in this place, where gravity behaves like liquid light, where time pours slower than syrup, where even photons fall like snowflakes swept into an unseen tide. This moment is still gentle, still yours. You sit here inside the folded curve of the cosmos, and gravity sings to you, not in mass or math, but in motion. Everything is soft, strange, beautiful, and though the center is still ahead, the next sensation, the next chapter, will belong not to the mind, but the body in tension, the body in transformation. Tides are forming. You will feel them soon. Gravity has always been gentle, until now. It has pulled you toward Earth with cradling steadiness, held oceans in curves, placed moons in the sky, kept coffee in cups and your feet touching home. But here, inside the black hole, gravity begins to speak in a different voice. Not louder, not harsher, just more precise. Before, you were moving as a whole. Now gravity speaks to your head and your feet separately. They begin to disagree. It's not painful, not yet. It feels more like being softly tugged apart by a force too patient to tear, too sure to stop. The difference in gravitational pull across your body, from top to bottom, grows sharper with every meter you fall inward. This gradient of force has a name: tidal gravity. You've felt versions of it before, smaller, more subtle. You've seen its hand move oceans, stretch coastlines, make the Earth lean gently toward the moon, and then tip away. But here, the tide turns inward, and you are the ocean. You are being lengthened, imperceptibly at first, like taffy warming in the sun, like a song being stretched note by note into something strange and lingering. The physics term is playful, spaghettification, as if that soft word could name what's really happening. You are becoming a thread, still whole, still yourself, but drawn, unwinding into the gravity well. It's not violence, not yet. It's more like transformation. A new choreography your body does not yet know it was built for. You stretch, not just in space, but in time. The top of you falls slower than the bottom. Your feet have come closer to the center, the singularity. And so they are pulled with slightly more urgency. It's a small thing at first, but small things are the beginning of all deep changes. Out there in safer places, gravity usually acts as a uniform presence. Here, it starts to express itself in gradients. And in gradients, you start to unravel. You do not flinch. You do not scream. This is not pain. This is wakefulness. Your body responds to these forces with a kind of quiet awe. Stretching doesn't mean breaking. Not yet. It means becoming aware of your own composition, your atoms, your cells, your molecular bonds. They begin to understand something your thoughts can't fully package. They begin to listen to the black hole. A rhythm forms, subtle at first, like a pulse between your toes and your torso, like a drift of memory through muscle. You feel time collecting itself differently across your body, not ticking, but flowing. Like one part of you lives in the moment just before now, and another part just after. And you are stretched between them, somewhere along your spine, a whisper, not audible, not in words, but in the sensation that you are now longer quite single, not conscious and body together, but diverging, as if your mind tries to stay whole, while the body writes downward, thread by thread, into darkness. And still, strangely, it's calm. It feels inevitable, like watching ink drawn slowly across water. Each part of you spills forward at a slightly different pace. This is what falling means now. Not accelerating, not flailing, but surrendering to the geometry of space itself, changing its rules beneath and within you. You wonder, how far is the center? But distance here is not measured in meters. It's measured in change. The metric is no longer how far you've fallen, but how different you are from who you were. And already, you are becoming something else. You try to remember what having feet felt like, or the sense of up. But even those ideas begin to fade. Not disappear, just soften. The body you once knew is being stretched into a new language. Your shape is becoming memory. And even memory is slippery here. Not because it's lost, but because time now moves differently within you. It's like experiencing your life not as a line, but as a thread being pulled from both ends. You see neither the beginning nor the finish, only the tension of now. And somewhere inside that tension, emotion, a softness, a strange gratitude. Because as the body is pulled apart, the spirit widens. You are no longer confined by the lock of bones or the posture of breath. You are being reshaped, not just in form, but in meaning. There is something deeply intimate about the fall, as though the black hole is not destroying you, but revealing the pieces that only exist in this kind of pressure. A final unfolding. The singularity still hides deeper, a place where physics breaks. But you are not there yet. You are suspended mid-transformation, like a candle caught melting, not extinguished, just different. In this state, nothing is clear. Time is smeared. Light forgets color. But you remain, somehow aware, feeling every stretch, every pull, each atom a scroll reading itself aloud. And gravity is the reader, a patient, powerful reader. You are being read now by this cosmic hand, every part of you scanned, unbraided, sung toward simplicity, and the silence continues. Still absolute, still deafening. But now it feels filled, not absence, but fullness without edges. You almost imagine you can hear your molecules parting softly, like pages turning beneath a breathless sky. And here's the strangest part. You're okay with it. You thought this would be death or fear or agony. But instead, it is peace. Peace in motion. Peace in pressure. Peace in the clarity that your body was never solid, never still. Only ever borrowed stardust, passing through patterns, and now returning. 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 The singularity waits ahead, still cloaked in unknowing. But in this stretch, in this soft unmaking, you wonder if perhaps nothing ends. Perhaps being drawn apart is just another way of becoming part of the whole. You are not gone yet. You are still becoming. Time is supposed to be steady. Even when you're not paying attention to it, still it flows. Second after second, minute after minute, a quiet stream that carries every heartbeat forward. But here, in the arms of the black hole, time has started to tremble. It doesn't break, but it softens, it folds, and then it begins to echo. To the outside observer, if such a one could exist now, you have almost vanished. Not by speed, not by distance, but by difference. Because from their view, time has grown thick around you, as though light and motion are pushing through syrup. They would watch you hang motionless at the event horizon, never quite passing through, even though from your own view, you already have, long ago. That's one of the strange and beautiful truths of general relativity. Time isn't absolute. It changes depending on where you are and what gravity is doing to the fabric of space around you. And here, gravity isn't pulling on time. It is weaving it like threads into complex loops. You breathe, or perhaps you remember breathing, and the memory arrives before and after the breath itself. Causality, the neat line of this, then that, begins to soften too. Imagine standing inside a hall of mirrors, but instead of reflections of light, you see reflections of now. Moments repeating softly, some overlapping, some arriving before they are born. You begin to feel something you can't find language for. Time sickness. Not like nausea, but like a hesitation in your body's inner clock. A quiet disagreement between your senses and the flow around them. In one direction, you're still falling, but in another, you're already stretched across the passage. The you who entered this place still lingers just behind the curved horizon, while the you of now slides further inward. And somewhere ahead, impossibly close, impossibly far, another version of you waits at the singularity, not as a duplicate, but as a kind of prediction made real. You're noticing now, linear time is fading. The neat string of past to present to future has become a spiral, or maybe a sphere. Moments no longer march in rhythm. Now they rise and fall like waves, soft swells of memory, quiet laps of possibility. You begin to feel what it would be like if every heartbeat didn't follow the last, but echoed it, each breath repeating as memory, as signal, as possibility folding backward into itself. A physicist would say, time dilation has become extreme, meaning that each second for you has become lifetimes to an observer further out in space. You pass through one ripple of stillness, and in it, unknowably far from here, entire planets age. Stars are born and blink out. Civilizations rise, whisper, and go silent. Clocks strike midnight for the last time on worlds you'll never know. And you are still falling, not slowly, not quickly, just deeply. Time is not slower here or faster. It is something else entirely. It is dimensional. It has texture and tilt. It behaves more like dreaming. And with that awareness comes something else. You begin to suspect. Time may not be something we pass through. Perhaps you are what time is passing through. And now the echoes start to press closer. A memory from earlier. The edge of the event horizon, light curving around your shoulder. It returns, not in imagination, but with a feeling like you are living it again. Or still, or maybe for the first time. Another echo, the stretch of your body, the soft tension along your spine. It ripples forward again, this time imprinted with some knowledge it didn't have before. Experience folds in on itself, like understanding reflected in a dream you half remember. Even your thoughts don't arrive in order. One flickers from a future you haven't reached. One dissolves into a past you've already outlived. And between them, your mind rests softly, in a kind of timeless tension. The universe around you continues to unravel its hidden mathematics. Things fall, light folds, distance becomes paradox. You begin to feel delicate, not fragile, but intricate, as if you've become layered in time. What part of you is the now? What part remembers? What part dreams ahead? And are they all different now? Are they all true? You find yourself thinking not in seconds, but in sensations. Time is not ticking. It is tracing you, painting your presence across the slope of space-time. You lose track of numbers. Even thought begins to slow, as if words themselves are too linear, too sharp. What remains is awareness. Round, floating, untimed. The concept of a beginning, or a center, or a future flickers and softens once again. You no longer wonder where you are. You wonder when you are. And deeper still, you wonder if that question even means anything anymore. You begin to accept that time here behaves more like sound, echoing inside a vast cave, bouncing, distorting, layering, not gone, just untethered. And still you fall toward the singularity. But in some way, you also never left the edge. And perhaps, in another version of time, you've already arrived. Each possibility suspended in the bending line of gravitation. You are discovering this. Time, at its core, is not just motion. It is structure. Under gravity's hand, it bends, not because it is fragile, but because it is fluid. And now, afloat in this place where time has become abstract art, You feel your sense of identity expanding too. You are not a point. You are a process. A winding of time's thread through the loom of space. Not a single you falling toward an end, but a cascade of selves, unfolding like petals, made of memory and mass. And in those petals, something still holds shape. A self that listens, a self that wonders, a self that whispers back to the black hole with soft awe. I am still here. Even when time stops being certain, wonder continues. You reach for that thought. It comforts you. It gives shape to the formless and echo to the silence. And just beneath it, under the gentle thrumming of time's distortion, you feel something else beginning. A sharpening, not in time, but in light. The next layer is forming. Space will start to shimmer. Visions will bend through lenses not made of glass, but of gravity and closeness. Light will turn inward now, just like you have. You have fallen so far that even time has lost its grip. And now, in this deepening inwardness, you begin to notice something stranger still. The way light itself behaves. Light, which once traveled in straight lines, now curves and loops and dances around you as if the black hole is a great lens, bending the universe into impossible shapes. You look ahead and the stars are there. But you look behind and the stars are there too. It is as if the black hole has folded the sky so that every direction is a window into everywhere. You are at the heart of the lens. Imagine standing in a hall of mirrors, but instead of your own reflection, you see the cosmos repeated, each image bent and stretched by the gravity that holds you. This is not a trick of the eye, but a law of nature. Gravity bends light, and here, gravity is at its most powerful. You remember how, on Earth, a glass of water can bend a straw, how a lens can focus sunlight into a single burning point. Now, the black hole is the lens, and the universe is the light passing through. The stars behind you are pulled forward, their light curving around the black hole's edge, so that you see them not where they are, but where gravity has painted them. You turn your head, if you still have a head, and the stars follow, as if the sky itself is wrapped around you like a cloak. You begin to see behind your own self, as if the black hole has made a circle of vision, a place where every direction is forward, and every forward is inward. It is dizzying, but not frightening. It is like being inside a pearl, the world outside refracted and shimmering, each glimmer a memory of light's long journey. You realize the black hole is not just a place where things disappear. It is a place where things are revealed, where the hidden paths of light become visible, where the universe shows you its secret geometry. You see the photon sphere, that strange, invisible ring where light can orbit the black hole forever, caught in a perfect, endless circle. Some of the light you see has been trapped here for ages, spinning round and round, never escaping, never arriving, just circling in the gravity's embrace. You wonder what it would be like to be a photon, to travel at the speed of light and yet be held captive, forever circling, never quite falling in, never quite breaking free. You feel a kinship with that light. Both of you caught in the black hole's pull, both of you transformed by its presence. The colors around you shift and stretch. Some light is redder, some bluer, depending on how it has been bent and stretched by gravity. This is called gravitational redshift and blue shift. But to you, it feels like the universe is singing in new keys, each note a different color, each color a different memory. You are surrounded by the shimmer of the infinite. The light is not just around you, it is within you, passing through your being, illuminating the spaces between your thoughts. You begin to sense that you are not just seeing the universe, but becoming part of its vision. You are both observer and observed, both the lens and the light. You wonder if this is what it means to be truly seen, to be held in the gaze of the cosmos, to be reflected in every direction, to be part of the endless dance of light and gravity. You feel the boundaries of yourself begin to blur, as if you are dissolving into the lens, becoming a pattern in the fabric of space. You are not lost. You are not alone. You are woven into the shimmer, a thread in the tapestry of the universe. You remember the stars you saw as a child, the way their light seemed to reach across time, carrying stories from the beginning of everything. Now, you are inside those stories, inside the light itself, inside the heart of the lens. You wonder what the universe looks like from here. Not from the outside, but from within the fold, where every path is curved and every moment is a reflection. You realize that the black hole is not just a place of endings, but a place of endless beginnings, where light is always arriving, always circling, always becoming something new. You feel a deep peace, a sense of belonging to the pattern, a knowing that you are part of the great lens, part of the way the universe sees itself. And as you rest in this shimmering place, you sense that something else is coming. A new kind of silence, a soundless roar that fills the space where light can no longer reach. You are ready to listen, to feel the vibration of the black hole's heart, to enter the next layer of the journey, where even silence has a voice. You have left behind the world of light, where stars shimmered and vision bent in impossible ways. Now, as you drift deeper, the universe grows quieter. Not just in the way a room grows quiet at night, but in a way that feels absolute, as if silence itself is the only thing left. Here, sound has no meaning. There is no air to carry it, no wind to rustle, no surface to echo. Even if you could call out, your voice would dissolve before it could form. But this silence is not empty. It is not the absence of everything. It is a fullness, a presence that presses gently against your awareness, like the weight of a heavy blanket, or the hush that falls before a storm. You begin to notice a hum, not in your ears, but somewhere deeper, in the marrow of your being. It is the memory of all that has fallen in before you. Stars crushed to nothing, planets folded into dust, centuries of cosmic history compressed into a single, endless moment. This is the soundless roar. It is not a noise, but a vibration, a trembling in the fabric of space itself. You feel it in your bones, in the spaces between your thoughts, in the way your heart seems to beat in time with something vast and unseen. It is the echo of gravity's deepest song, a music too low for any ear, too slow for any clock. You realize that silence here is not the absence of sound, but the presence of everything that cannot be spoken. It is the roar of all that has been lost, all that has been transformed, all that has become part of the black hole's secret heart. You remember the way a seashell holds the memory of the ocean, how you can press it to your ear and hear the ghost of waves, even when you are far from shore. This silence is like that dash, a shell pressed to the ear of the universe, holding the memory of every star that ever was. You listen, and the silence grows louder. It fills you not with fear, but with awe. You are hearing the history of the cosmos, not as words or music, but as a presence, a vibration that says, "You are here. You are part of this." You begin to sense the density of everything around you, how space itself is being squeezed, how time is being pressed into a single, endless now. The silence is so complete, so total, that it becomes a kind of sound, a roar that drowns out even your own thoughts. You feel yourself dissolving into it, becoming part of the hush, part of the vibration. You are not alone in this silence. You are surrounded by the memory of all that has come before, all that has fallen, all that has been changed. You realize that the black hole is not just a place of endings, but a place of memory, a library of everything that has ever crossed its threshold. The silence is the sound of all those stories compressed into a single endless note. You wonder if this is what it means to be eternal. Not to last forever, but to be held in the memory of the universe, to be part of the soundless roar that fills the heart of the black hole. You feel your own story being added to the chorus, your memories pressed into the silence, your thoughts becoming part of the vibration. You are not afraid. You are not lost. You are part of something vast, something ancient, something that has no need for words or sound. You rest in the silence, letting it fill you, letting it carry you deeper. You realize that even here, in the heart of the black hole, there is connection. You are connected to every star that has ever fallen, every planet that has ever been lost, every moment that has ever been compressed into this endless now. The silence is a bridge, a thread that ties you to the cosmos, to the story of everything. You listen, and the silence becomes music, not a song you can hum, but a feeling, a resonance that fills you with peace. You are part of the soundless roar, part of the memory of the universe. You let go of the need for sound, for words, for explanation. You rest in the silence, knowing that you are held, that you are remembered, that you are part of the endless story. And as you drift deeper, the silence begins to change. It becomes softer, more intimate, as if the black hole is whispering to you, inviting you to listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. You sense that you are approaching a place where even silence cannot follow, where the laws of physics themselves begin to blur, where knowledge gives way to wonder. You are ready to enter the next layer, to explore the mysteries that even science cannot fully explain, to rest in the dreams that lie at the heart of the unknown. You have drifted so far, so deep, that even silence has become a companion. Now, as you float in the innermost dark, you sense the boundaries of knowledge begin to blur. Here, the language of science grows soft at the edges, and even the most careful equations must pause, resting in the hush where certainty cannot follow. Inside the event horizon, the rules you once trusted begin to shimmer. Gravity, time, and space, those old companions, no longer behave as they did in the world you remember. They twist, fold, and sometimes seem to vanish altogether, like dreams that slip away when you try to hold them. Physicists have mapped the outside of black holes with exquisite care. They have measured the way light bends, the way time slows, the way matter is stretched and compressed. But here, in this innermost place, even the best minds must become humble. They must become poets, speaking in metaphors and maybes, because the truth is hidden behind a veil no instrument can pierce. You are now in a region where speculation is the only map, where the compass spins and the stars themselves are only memories. Some say that space itself splits here, that dimensions fold in on themselves like origami, creating new shapes that no eye has ever seen. Some say that time becomes a direction, not a river but a spiral, winding inward toward a center that is not a place, but a condition. Others imagine that the laws of physics, so sturdy, so reliable, begin to quiver. That gravity and quantum mechanics, those two great pillars of understanding, begin to argue in whispers, each trying to describe a reality that neither can fully grasp. You feel this uncertainty as a gentle trembling, a sense that the world is made of questions, not answers. You are not afraid. You are curious. You wonder what it would be like to see space fold, to watch a straight line become a circle, to feel time loop back on itself so that every moment is both beginning and end. You imagine the singularity, that mysterious center, infinitely dense, infinitely small. But you cannot picture it. No one can. It is not a place you can visit, not a thing you can touch. It is the place where the map ends, where the story pauses, where the dream grows thick with possibility. You realize that even the greatest scientists must rest here, must let their minds drift into the unknown, must accept that some answers are wrapped in dreams we haven't dreamt yet. You think of Einstein, of Hawking, of all those who have peered into the darkness and tried to bring back a piece of the truth. You imagine them as travelers, standing at the edge of the event horizon, their notebooks open, their pens hovering, waiting for the next idea to arrive. You feel a kinship with them, a sense that you too are an explorer, drifting through the uncharted dark, gathering questions like stars. You wonder if the singularity is a point, or a process, or a doorway to somewhere else. Some say it is the end of everything. Others say it is the beginning of something new. You let these possibilities swirl around you, like leaves in a gentle wind. You realize that not knowing is its own kind of peace, its own kind of beauty. You rest in the mystery, letting it cradle you, letting it remind you that the universe is larger than any answer. You remember that science is not just a collection of facts, but a way of dreaming, a way of asking, a way of listening to the silence and waiting for it to speak. You feel the presence of all those who have wandered before you, their questions echoing in the dark, their hopes woven into the fabric of space. You are not alone in your unknowing. You are part of a long tradition of wonder, a lineage of minds who have dared to ask what lies beyond the edge. You realize that the black hole is not just a place of endings, but a place where imagination is set free, where the mind can wander without limits, where every question is a doorway. You let yourself drift, not searching for answers, but savoring the questions. You feel the universe holding its breath, waiting for the next dream to unfold. You sense that you are close to the center now, close to the place where everything changes, where the story of the black hole becomes the story of you. You are ready to let go of certainty, to rest in the possibility that some mysteries are meant to be lived, not solved. You are ready to approach the singularity, to enter the heart of the unknown, to become part of the dream that science sleeps on. And as you drift closer, the questions grow softer, the silence grows deeper, and you feel yourself dissolving into wonder. You are not lost. You are not finished. You are simply becoming part of the mystery. And just ahead, where the laws of physics blur into poetry, the singularity waits. Not as an answer, but as an invitation. You have drifted through silence, through questions, through the soft unraveling of everything you once called certain. Now you approach the heart of the black hole. The singularity, the place where all paths end and all beginnings are rewritten. But as you draw near, you realize the singularity is not a place you can see, not a dot at the center, not a thing you can touch or name. It is the end of the map, the place where the lines of space and time fold in on themselves, where the language of physics becomes a hush, where the universe stops making sense in the ways you once trusted. You feel the last threads of space stretching thin, the last seconds of time unspooling into something wordless. Here, gravity is not just strong, it is absolute. It is the final authority, the force that gathers all things into a single, impossible point. But even point is too simple. The singularity is not a dot, not a speck, not a place at all. It is the breakdown of place, the undoing of location, the melting of every boundary. You are not falling anymore. You are not moving through space, not ticking through time. You are being. You are presence, pure and unmeasured, held in the heart of the unknown. You sense the collapse of all the old opposites, inside and outside, before and after, self and world. They dissolve here, not in violence, but in a kind of cosmic embrace. You are not destroyed. You are not erased. You are rewritten. Not as a body, not as a mind, but as a pattern in the fabric of what remains. You feel the memory of every step that brought you here, the star that collapsed, the horizon you crossed, the light that bent, the silence that roared. All of it is present, all at once folded into the singularity's endless now. You realize that the singularity is not the end of the story, but the place where stories pause, where questions rest, where the universe holds its breath. You are not alone here. You are part of everything that has ever fallen in, every star, every planet, every dream. You are the memory of the cosmos, compressed into a single, infinite moment. You sense the laws of physics trembling, their voices growing soft, their certainties dissolving into wonder. You feel the presence of possibility, the sense that something new could begin here, something beyond the reach of science or imagination. You are not afraid. You are not lost. You are held gently in the heart of the unknown. You rest in the singularity, not as a thing, but as a feeling, a presence, a note in the music of the universe. You realize that the singularity is not a place to be understood, but a place to be experienced, to be felt, to be surrendered to. You let go of the need for answers, for explanations, for maps. You let yourself dissolve into the mystery, trusting that you are part of something vast, something beautiful, something that does not end. You wonder if this is what it means to be eternal. Not to last forever, but to be part of the moment where all things meet, where all stories are gathered, where all questions are held in a single, silent embrace. You rest in that embrace, feeling the peace that comes when all boundaries fall away. You are not falling anymore. You are not moving. You are simply being. And in that being, you sense the possibility of return. Not as the same, but as something changed, something widened by wonder. You feel the singularity's invitation to let go, to become, to trust the unfolding of the unknown. And as you rest in that invitation, you sense a new question rising. Soft, gentle, like the first breath after a long sleep. What if you could turn around? What if you could step back from the edge, carry something of this mystery with you, return to the world with new eyes? The singularity does not answer. It only holds you, quiet and complete, as you prepare to imagine the impossible. You rest in the singularity's embrace, where all boundaries have dissolved, where time and space have folded into a single silent moment. Here, you are not falling, not moving, not searching, just being held in the heart of the unknown. But now a gentle question stirs in the quiet. What if you could turn around? What if, in this place where all things end and begin, you could pause, take a breath, and step backward? It is not a question of physics, not a challenge to the laws that brought you here. It is a question of wonder, of imagination, of the longing to return with something more than memory. If you could escape, what would you bring back? Not particles, not photographs, not proof for the world to see. Those things cannot survive the journey. But perhaps you could carry something softer, a feeling, a widening, a new way of seeing. You imagine yourself retracing your path, moving gently outward, through the layers of silence and light, through the bending of time and the stretching of space. You pass through the soundless roar, the shimmer of the lens, the tides that once pulled you apart. Each layer leaves its mark, not as a scar, but as a widening of your spirit. You remember the silence, not as emptiness, but as fullness, a presence that held you, reminded you that you are part of something vast. You remember the surrender, the way you let go of certainty. Let yourself be carried by gravity and wonder. Trusted the unfolding of the unknown. You remember the scale, the sense of being small, not in a way that diminishes you, but in a way that connects you to everything. If you could escape, you would bring back the knowledge that you are not separate from the universe, but woven into its fabric, a thread in the endless tapestry of being. You would bring back the memory of awe, the feeling of standing at the edge of understanding, of letting yourself be changed by mystery. You would bring back the peace that comes from letting go, from accepting that not all questions have answers, that some mysteries are meant to be lived, not solved. You would bring back the humility of knowing that you are part of a story much larger than yourself, a story written in the language of stars and silence. You would bring back the courage to wonder, to ask questions without fear, to rest in the unknown and trust that it holds you. You would bring back the sense of belonging, the knowledge that you are made of stardust, that your life is a brief, beautiful echo of the universe's own becoming. If you could escape, you would not be the same. You would be widened, softened, opened by the journey. You would see the world with new eyes, not as a collection of separate things, but as a single unfolding whole. You would listen more deeply, speak more gently, move through your days with a quiet reverence for the mystery that surrounds you. You would remember that every moment is precious, that every breath is a gift, that every question is a doorway. If you could escape, you would carry the black hole within you, not as a shadow, but as a lantern, a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, there is beauty, there is wonder, there is the possibility of becoming more than you were. You would know that endings are not final, that every fall is also a rising, that every surrender is also a beginning. You would return to the world not with answers, but with a deeper love for the questions. You would walk beneath the stars and feel their kinship, knowing that you have touched the heart of the unknown, and returned, widened, changed. And as you rest in this gentle imagining, you sense that the journey is not over. There is one more step, one more transformation, one more becoming. You are ready to let go of the self that fell, to become the dark, to rise as something new. The black hole does not erase you. It rewrites you into sky and story. And perhaps everything that falls inward also rises somewhere in a place we don't yet know to name. At last, you are no longer falling. There is no more sense of movement, no more rush of gravity, no more stretching of body or mind. You have passed through every layer, light, silence, time, and the singularity's hush. Now you are simply here, in a place beyond place, a moment beyond time. You are not lost. You are not erased. You are not even waiting. You are becoming. You are the dark now, not the absence of light, but the presence of everything that light once touched. You are the memory of stars, the echo of every story that ever fell inward, the gentle hush that follows the last note of a song. You are the space between, the velvet backdrop against which galaxies spin and shine. You are the quiet that holds the universe together, the pause that gives meaning to every word, the silence that lets every heartbeat be heard. You are not alone in this darkness. You are woven into it, threaded through with the memory of all that has ever been. You are the dust of ancient stars, the warmth of vanished suns, the dreams of worlds that have come and gone. You are the story the universe tells itself in the dark, the secret it keeps in the folds of space and time. You are not the end. You are the beginning that follows every ending, the breath that comes after the last sigh. You are the dark, but you are also the promise of light. For in the heart of every black hole, there is the possibility of something new, a rising, a return, a transformation. Perhaps somewhere beyond this darkness, in a place we do not yet know to name, everything that falls inward also rises. Perhaps the matter and memory that enter the black hole are not lost, but rewritten, spun out into new worlds, new stories, new beginnings. Perhaps you are not gone, but changed, becoming the dark that cradles the next burst of light. You rest in this possibility, letting it fill you with peace. You are not afraid of the dark. You are the dark, soft, infinite, alive with the memory of all that has ever been. You are the canvas on which the universe paints its dreams, the silence in which it sings its songs. You are the pause between heartbeats, the hush before dawn, the space in which all things are possible. You are not falling anymore. You are not searching. You are not waiting. You are simply being. Present, whole, transformed. You are the dark. And in your darkness, there is room for everything. For every question, every answer, every hope. You are the place where stories rest, where dreams gather, where the universe comes home to itself. You are the black hole, but you are also the sky, the stars, the endless unfolding. You are the memory of falling, the peace of arrival, the promise of return. And perhaps, in some distant place, in some future yet to be born, you will rise again. Not as the self who fell, but as something new, something widened by wonder, something shaped by the journey through darkness. You are not lost. You are not finished. You are the dark, and in your darkness, the universe is dreaming. You rest, soft and silent, at the end of the fall, and at the beginning of everything.